You're listening to Way Off Central.
Why not? Didn't you also knock off at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday?
Because it was Melbourne Cup, we started early and intended to knock off at 2:30, which was still going to be the full 8 hours. We ended up starting early and finishing at 3:30. So we planned to finish early and we ended up finishing on time. So from now on, I'm just going to say to the boys, well, look, I'm finishing early, so hopefully we finish on time every day instead of finishing 2 hours late.
Smart.
Yeah, right. So wait, did you make it? Did you watch the race?
No, not at all.
So the race did not stop the nation.
No, definitely.
And I know that because I also did not watch the race.
Yep.
First year in a long time, I think I haven't watched the Melbourne Cup.
I think I've watched it probably twice in my entire life.
Who won?
Never have I ever watched Melbourne Cup. Why? Because I don't agree with it.
I'm not for.
But you love
I'm not
the pun.
for like
Oh, I don't
horse racing. The thing with the horse
Don't mind a
racing
bit of
thing
pun.
is, like, I understand that it gets the most publicity, so everyone pipes up. But literally, there are horse races every day of the year, like just about.
yeah.
Like thousands upon thousands of horse races happen every year, but
It's amazing. I saw one shit
first
post.
Tuesday in November, everybody blows up.
I saw one shit post from like a pretty sizable Facebook page saying, I don't want to hear about all you women like piping up about, well, not all you women, but like saying women are particularly bad for it, but everyone piping up about how bad the Melbourne Cup is and then keeping quiet for the rest of the year. And then I just haven't seen a story about it this year. Fascinating.
You haven't seen a story about
Saying why I support Melbourne Cup. I haven't seen a single picture of a horse with blood on it on people's stories.
Yeah, right. It's funny because I've seen massive protests and stuff this year, probably bigger than I've seen in any other year.
I've definitely seen protests. I haven't necessarily seen as much of a
Not
like,
much of
social
like a
publicity.
just millennial sort of getting behind it. Like I haven't seen many shares and
Yeah.
and that, but who knows? That could just be again that media bubble. We just don't get that content. But what do you guys think on it?
I think I should have put $50 on Mr. Moneybags. No, I have no idea. No, I like it. I like the... It's nearly festivity, isn't it?
I like the fact that everyone goes to the races, has a drink and a dabble, and I like the culture around it. The actual racing itself, I do quite disagree with. There's a bloke I know who's like, yeah, I disagree with the racing. I don't like it very much. He goes, I owned horses. I went, what, that raced? He went, yeah. I was like, yeah, right. He went, yeah, made a fair bit of money off them too. I was like, yeah, right. He's like, yeah, then I also did, had a couple of horses in equestrian. Fucking, I'm like, isn't that way worse? Like, they're the ones where they always, because that's the hurdles and stuff.
Yeah,
they
jumping over
trip,
stuff and pulls
dive,
and
break
whatnot.
legs, they put them down almost straight away.
You ask him, isn't that way worse? He's like, no, they made more money for me. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, good call.
All right.
Episode 22.
Yeah, true.
Fuck me, we're getting high up there.
Hope everyone's enjoyed the Dougcast last week. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. We had Mr. Patrick Dowd on, a good friend of ours, one of our larger duds.
Talked about being a vegetarian and moving in with his high school sweetheart. It's pretty good. A lot of laughs.
A lot of laughs. It was a fun ep. It was a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I think it had its informative moments, but all in all, it was a bit more upbeat than.
It was definitely informative, just not general knowledge sort of things. It was more just what goes on in Pat's house as opposed to.
I think we gave some decent, solid
we did.
advice in there, and spoke about nutrition a little bit. I'm sure we'll dive into that on another episode at God knows what date.
And if Chloe, Pat's missus, ever listens to this one, we weren't attacking him to attack you. We were just getting down to these are questions people wanted to know. They've come in and they've asked us to stay anonymous.
We've had a suggestion box. This week,
Crazy feedback.
So this week, we've written up a few questions. Shall we?
Yeah, let's jump straight in.
So the first question we had was... Oh, sorry. Before we get into it. Guys, if there's stuff you want us to talk about, it'd be fantastic if you actually wrote in. I think we did not get a lot. We did not get a lot of responses. We did get some. Big shout out to Maya for suggesting bad Tinder dates. We don't really have a lot of experiences with them though.
Send in your bad Tinder dates.
Send in your bad Tinder dates, and we'll definitely, we should do a call out for something like that. Try and get just a good sort of dating episode, dating content sort of thing. Another thing that just sort of been in the limelight a little bit this week. So we just thought we'd say, guys, and we had a couple suggestions to put this in. Guys, just remember the number for Lifeline, 13 11 14, and they do some great stuff there. So if you guys can do anything to donate and help them out, bit of a shout out to someone we went to school with at Arundel College, and I just seen it pop up on Facebook. I don't think they are even following us in any way, but just a shout out to Maddie. Oh, I won't say her last name, but she's got like a GoFundMe type thing going on, and that's raised about $2,000 for suicide prevention and awareness so far. Great cause that hopefully everyone can get behind, and just remember that Lifeline is open 24 hours, 7 days a week. On a lighter note, what do we do in terms of changing energy sources, and what might this mean for miners and other jobs?
That's not much lighter. That's still a depressing subject.
I don't think it is. I like the chaos.
I want to bring children into this dying world.
Fuck no. Maybe a couple of puppies.
Yeah, they won't.
They won't know what's going on. Fuck, it's getting hot.
Panting.
No water today? That's okay. Maybe tomorrow.
What do you guys think?
Changing over to renewable energy and things like that to supplement like fossil fuels and whatnot. New jobs are going to come along with it. I dare say not as much jobs as they have mining and hurting the planet, but
I don't know, like
surely replacing infrastructure, there'd be a ton of new jobs opening
for
up.
the next 100
That'd
years.
be massive, yeah.
100%. And I don't know, like you have those mining towns, especially around all that Adani stuff, and you know the communities up there, pardon me, jumping absolutely up and down, you know, they took our jobs, like, you know, what happens if, you know, the mines go, what are we going to do? It'd be good if the government put in an initiative that sort of upskilled people, taught them, say, a new trade, or brought them into the new jobs around that sort of area. Like, there's got to be a way to do this quite well. Like, realistically, solar to me just seems like the way to go.
Solar's definitely good. Solar's definitely the way we're moving, but even then, solar's hard because we're not at a stage where it's as good as it could be yet.
Yeah, but in saying that, so, like, I remember seeing an interview with Elon Musk, and they said, what about a country as large as China? You know, I think it's the most populous country on Earth. You know, could China be run on solar? And he said, his response was literally, yes, easily. He said so much of China is unused. Like, it's all dense, populous areas, but there's actually quite a large amount of China that's wide open sort of spaces. And he goes, yeah, you could easily run all of China on solar. And I buy that.
That's a hard one again, though, because you look at China. China's got really bad pollution, right? So if we start trying to switch over some of their power systems to solar, it's already going to be way less efficient than something like in America or here, just because of their air pollution.
That's true, but is China like, and you know, I'm just talking out of my ass a little bit here, but is that pollution over all those wide open areas of China, or is that pollution mostly around the cities?
Granted, it's going to be mostly around the cities, but if you spread and look at all the cities around China, it's going to spread to some degree. Obviously not, as bad as it's concentrated in the cities, but it is still going to have a significant difference.
I think Canberra has a 100% renewable target by 2025, was it?
I thought ACT was already 100% renewable. What was that? Only in
100%.
something.
We're definitely getting there, and we're on our way. But I think it was 2025 or 2030 was 100% renewables for the ACT was the target. And God, I hope we reach it. But then I heard another statistic recently, and it was like 76% of, the pollution in this regard is generated by the large corporations. Like 100 large corporations generate 76% of it.
Yeah, most electricity, like that's one of the big problems. It's not necessarily just about
Getting all the people on board.
yeah, the people want to do it and governments want to do it. There's that many corporations that run the power industry that are actually, that have the sway here. Like it needs to be a big business that comes in and says, all right, this is what we're doing. We can provide this stable, system that works every day, 365 days a year without question. Because that's what the big, coal mining companies can do. They can say, yep, sweet, you need power, we've got it all the time, every day, whenever.
I did just do a quick Google, and Canberra is 100% renewable on electricity. I did read it on a bus, and as of 30th of September or something.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
But
We get a lot of ours from, I think anyway, it's called Woodlawn Bioreactor. It's out sort of Bungendore type way. And what they do is they transport, when I went there, which was 2014, I went on a school excursion there. And they transport like a quarter of Sydney's rubbish there by train and fill in this old mine with the rubbish and capture all the methane gas that's released from it. They capture about 91% of the methane gas and then use that. And I thought that was pretty cool.
That is rather interesting.
Yeah.
the difficult bits when you're talking about renewable energies is the reliability. So if specifically, if we're talking about something like solar, and you look at just the difference between summer and winter. Obviously, in summer it's going to be a lot more reliable. You've got a lot of power coming in during the day. There's no real question about that. But then rolls over to night time. All your supply is gone unless you can sustainably store it. So the
They do that thing
difficulty
with salts or something, don't they? They heat up
Molten
salts and
salt,
store
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, that's it. The difficulty isn't about actually generating the energy because we can do that pretty well. It's about storing the energy, and they're working on like massive lithium-ion batteries, which they work wonders, but they're still not to the stage that we need them to be able to feed entire cities and that sort of thing. And what you were saying about Canberra being 100% renewable, that doesn't necessarily mean that we as a city run off just solar and hydro and whatever else. It means we produce probably enough to cover what we use as a city, but we're still heavily reliant on South Australian power stations and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we get a lot of our electricity from South Australia,
I did hear that.
from the wind farms.
Even just like from the natural gas stations down there. That's a lot of what.
Remember there was a storm down there and they lost bulk power?
Yeah, it does sound familiar.
Yeah. That's wild. You've also got things like you've got places like large scale data centers, hospitals, things like that need, whilst it's probably not a massive issue in the grand scheme of things, like if we get everyone else down, who cares if these places have their massive diesel generators that just in case on their backup power supplies. But everywhere so many places need like big diesel generators just as backup.
Yeah, massive diesel generators. I've worked on a few data centers, and
Data center ones are huge. I went on a tour recently. It was
The
fucking
drains that we've had to put in for in case the diesel generators spill out and shit.
Even then, you've got to look at things for industry. You know, it's not easy to run. You know, if you could charge everybody's forklift on every building site in Canberra with a solar panel, yes, sick, that'd be awesome. But there's no way. You've got to be able to run that thing on diesel because you need it there and then. You can't worry about how long it's going to take to charge or replacing 6 batteries in the thing. You need it then and there or industry stops. And it's the same with, you know, big power saws, you know, electric ovens, all that sort of thing. Everything needs that power.
In saying that, I feel like particularly from a like vehicular perspective, the maintenance of running something in terms of batteries, like I know like you can't worry about changing batteries and this and that, but the maintenance of running, say, an electric car seems to be significantly lower. Like if you look at what Tesla does, they just get a software update for like $120 once a year. Diesel services are among the most expensive because of how dirty like diesel burns, and the amount of soot produced. I feel like it's a trade-off that
That's exactly right. But
the government just has to, at some point, I know the people are meant to run the government, but we need to just start. I reckon every election, I heard this as an idea on a podcast for the States, and I think it'd be good here. Every election, when everyone's electing, everyone votes on like the top 3 most like contentious topics, like, and those 3 points become law. So like let's say one was like legalize marijuana, legalize say abortion or something, yes, no, all that sort of stuff. But then I also think at that point we get rid of mandatory voting if we did that. I know we've gone off topic here, but I'm just saying.
see, that's also like an incredibly hard thing to do because then it becomes a matter of who can get the most publicity out there. You know, if we can start a movement that gets massive publicity about, you know, saving the environment and all that sort of thing, who's to say that the 30 people who actually took the time to consider it and said, actually, we need better healthcare, you know, that's a big problem right now, and they don't get the publicity. You know, at that point, that becomes the bigger issue than needing, you know, the...
Are you talking about the voting?
Yeah.
Point. Yeah, absolutely.
It's
but
like-
it's also, but I don't view that as any different to how laws are really made now. So we might as well let the people decide.
It's hard.
And that's why I say get rid of mandatory voting, because I don't think we should get people that don't give a shit involved in the democratic process.
Yeah.
Well, you're actually good like that because you don't anyway.
Yeah.
AEC Joel has not signed up.
What's that?
Classic.
Australian Electoral Commission.
There you go.
What was?
I was worried I was going to get a fine. Nothing's come in yet.
It'll come in one day. Like you'll just be sitting there, but bugger.
They'll just bulk bill me in 30 years. Send me bankrupt. No, but I definitely think the way of, like, I think how some people think of, like, renewable electricity anyway, like solar panels and shit, like, everything has to have it. You can have a fuck off solar panel farms like we do elsewhere and just store it in big battery banks or whatever to charge a city. Like, I think I read somewhere that the Sahara Desert gets enough sun in, like, 6 hours to power the globe for one day.
Yeah, right.
Like, so fuck, it's pretty massive. And I don't know how big the Sahara Desert is, but how big of a job would it be to?
How many people live in there at the moment? Like,
Yeah.
it couldn't be heaps. Like, obviously you don't want to disturb what's going on, but also, like, the amount of sun we get in this country, there's got to be plenty. And in terms of jobs, every cunt that worked on a mine, ship them off to do that.
Yeah, build like manifolds and shit for
Actually,
solar panels.
and maybe, like, you know, keep the working conditions reasonable, but maybe instead of driving a truck down a hole, have them actually do some work. Like,
they wind down the window every once in a while to get some black shit on their face to go, fuck, big day. No, we'll get ridiculed for that.
No, some people I'm sure work really hard in the mines, and some people drive a really big, cool-looking truck down a hole and then drive it back up.
Nah, I reckon that's a big job. You know, you put me in the driver's seat of a, you know,
I'm not saying I'm not,
300 ton.
I'm not-
Yeah.
yeah, but that's the thing. You're talking about getting paid for responsibility as opposed to getting paid for work.
Yeah.
I still reckon it'd be pretty stressful. Like,
Yeah,
that's
they're
a
getting-
mental work. Granted, no, all right, they're not
Truck
getting the guns
drivers
out,
work
rolling the
hard.
sleeves up.
Miners? Nah.
Nah, I reckon it'd be like, I reckon it's a big mental game. Or any work like that, you know, things like an oil rig
For
or
300-400 grand a year, fucking sign me up. I don't care. I don't care how big the truck is. I'll take
I'll
your drift.
push the car up.
I'll do it. But
I'll take your drift the cut in. I don't care.
yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm
Call
all
me
for it,
DK.
but I don't reckon it'd be a walk in the park.
Yeah, imagine driving like a 50-ton truck with like 200 tons of rock and shit in the back up one of them spirally fucking mines.
Yeah,
Just
like,
looking over the edge all day going, ooh.
Imagine doing it sideways. Be fucking sweet.
Be a lot quicker if I just went nose down.
So I think we all agree that we don't know what we should do in terms of changing energy sources. We just know that we should. Have we had any thoughts about nuclear?
yeah, that's another hard one.
Fucking
Surely
risk.
that's like extremely pollutous. Is that a
Nah,
word?
nah. See, it pollutes fuck all. The problem is the risk factor. You get because if she does go down south, she goes
We're all going down.
Chernobyl.
You do get some bad waste from it, which we actually dispose quite a bit of. We ship in.
I thought we did it quite well. I thought we
We do it
I
quite
thought we
well,
were pretty
but
good at getting rid of nuclear waste, kind of cleanly.
we do, but it's still not perfect. Like we are still just burying our waste. Like, you know, we don't have a way to
Yeah,
dissipate
that's
it
where it came from.
nicely.
Why don't you buy pants from Chernobyl?
Why?
Because Chernobyl fall off.
You're right.
And there was that because
You're
here's the
right.
thing: they had the whole shit that happened in Chernobyl, and then they went, no, we've got this. We've gotten way better since then. They did that one in Japan, and then they didn't take into account that they get big waves over there. And
Yeah,
that
well,
went down
that's
south.
a bit of a toughie. Like,
Nah, but like they literally said we didn't make the break wall big enough.
yeah,
And I just think little simple engineering stuff like that.
Get the dude
Too
who
much can
built
go wrong.
the Hoover Dam out there. 1 year finished it 1 year early, under budget. Get him out there. No cardboard derivatives.
No string, no sellotape. All right. Should we move on?
Should.
Thoughts? Any thoughts on how we should change our waste management? So, like, any ideas? Do we ditch plastic straws? Do we recycle more? Are there any cool things we could do in terms of recycling or plastics or
Probably
etc.?
start building houses out of plastic. Something.
That'd be alright.
Surely you
Yeah,
could do
surely.
it.
I think there's definitely ways you could
Bit flammable,
insulate
but-
houses with plastic.
Yeah. I mean, they're making high-rise buildings out of timber that's like compressed to the shithouse that's fire retardant and structural. Sure, they can do the same thing with plastic. Just go to India and take a fucking bucket full every time you need some.
I thought plastic's full of... Like, plastic's got to be harder, surely.
Depends how hard you press it, I guess.
Soft plastics.
I think the problem is it's difficult to make it structural. So
Do you
it's
think
got to
we-
fill a role somewhere else, as opposed to being structural. I think it needs to be something. It needs to be a cladding of some sort. It needs to be
Yeah.
roofing or something like
Like
insulation.
eave sheet. Just something shit like that.
Yeah, something that's not necessarily heavily relied upon, but
Like use
Still
it as a
does a job.
replacement for shit like fibro cement.
yeah.
Oh, get rid of that shit.
Yeah, surely plastic's easier to work with. If you do, I don't know. We're talking out of our arse here. Like we don't know enough about materials or compounds and structures of shit. But do we think we ditch plastic straws?
I think we need to ditch a lot of plastic things.
I feel like plastic straws is going to do fuck all, and the only thing it's why it's such a mainstream thing is because every cunt and their dogs like save the turtles. Because
Yeah.
one turtle had a straw stuck up its nose.
You say that, but I also kind of think like we should also just, if it's gonna help at all,
Yeah.
we should do it.
Yeah. But like, why start off with like this tiniest? Oh, I guess you got to start
The
somewhere.
journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, Joel. That's why.
Single straw.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
why not get rid of?
This is step number 2. They've started on the plastic bags.
Yeah.
Next is straws. What's the third one? Where do we go from straws? Once we eradicate straws,
Lids.
Oh yeah, lids.
Lids.
Plastic cups. Nah. Oh, yeah, paper cups.
Paper
work.
cup. Surely it's a paper lid.
Well,
yeah,
we've got
I've
paper
had
cups.
like a thick cardboard paper lid, which again probably isn't ideal, but
We've got paper cups, but they pulled the sneaky on us because they put the plastic lining on the inside. So you like
yeah,
all,
but it's less, isn't it?
yeah, but you still like you can't recycle that. Every coffee cup that you've ever had from a takeaway or something, just about. Obviously, there are some exceptions. Pretty much every single one of them, you can't recycle that. You
We
got to throw
can't.
that in the rubbish.
We can't we can't make like everyone just use reusable glass or metal. Well, we could use glass, but then again, I heard recently we're running out of sand. Earth has a real resource problem.
We do. We need to abandon the planet. We need to go to
I think we
Mars.
just need to Thanos it.
I think we need to stop getting sand from the beaches and actually get it from under the ocean. Make the oceans deeper.
More fish,
More turtles
more food.
to eat our plastic.
Perfect. Which means
renewable
not only
sources
that,
of
waste
food.
waste management.
Jesus, we should run the
Jim's
country.
mowing.
I think we're going about it the wrong way. Instead of paper cups, why don't we just make a liquid that doesn't go through paper? Let's change water.
Joel is outside the box.
Yeah, why do we need liquid? Why don't we just consume water as a solid?
The
It's nature's way.
UN next week
That's a
listening
brand.
to our podcast. Holy fuck.
Oh my god.
Get him in.
These guys know what they're talking about. Hell, let's just make like everywhere super humid and we can just breathe our water.
Eat your water.
Yeah, we could just eat a whole bunch of watermelon all the time. We could make that the world's #1 GDP.
Surely it takes way more water to create a watermelon than it does comparative to just drinking water.
Yeah, probably.
Because you got to think about,
There's an island in
Love
New
Island?
York. A little island. They say it's an island, but it's like a house just sitting in the middle of the ocean. And it's completely self-sustainable. It's got solar panels and it's got a diesel sort of generator in the basement that takes the saline, is it, out of salt water, so it's drinkable.
Yeah, I think saline. Well, maybe saline's what they use on
Sa-
the drip. Saline's what they use in
No,
like
it's- I
your
think-
eyes when you get eye
You're talking about
drops.
desalination.
It's desalination.
Yeah.
That's it. Can they do that on a fuck off scale, or is that just
Get
like
rid of the salt. So like
We have fresh water coming in.
heat bulk ocean water so it evaporates. Capture the evaporated water off into like a massive fucking funnel, and then
capture the salt?
iodize the salt. Put it in your fucking Saxa bags, and
I was gonna say
there you go. Bulk seasoning, bulk water.
use it to store some electricity.
We can do like bulk
Melt it down.
desalination. You look at any real Navy vessel that's meant to stay out for a while, that they've got a pretty good system, but it's not good enough for like a long-term solution. Like it degrades the water. You get all sorts of chemicals through it. It's
And also
a
something's gotta
hefty
power
system.
that.
Exactly. It's a
Solar.
hard thing.
And if there's chemicals in it, we'll take vitamins to counter those chemicals. Anybox. Antibiotics. That's what I call antibiotics.
Swiss and Blackmores will lead the way for the revolution.
Nature's own.
People are going to think we're high as fuck doing this
Fish
podcast,
oil.
but we're just creative.
We're just having good ideas that everybody else is discrediting. 'cause
I think
they should
I
have
actually
thought.
do think though, like the amount of Sydney beach sand that that we go through in construction. Like, don't get me wrong though. God, it comes up nice.
Yeah.
God, it looks good.
Does.
But
If I had a sandpit in my backyard for my kids, I'd go straight to CSR and buy a fucking 3 tons of fucking Bondi beach sand for a sandpit.
Surely you just
3
go down the
tons?
coast with a
How
trailer.
big's your sand pit?
Yeah, it's a huge sandpit.
It's just 3 by 3 by 3. Is it not? 1
You're
cubic
gonna
meter
have
is
a
a ton.
three-
Is that right?
Is it?
You're going to have
I don't think so.
I don't think so, for one. And second of all, you plan on having a 3-meter deep sand pit?
I've got a lot of kids. I've got to bury some of them.
I was going to make that joke and then thought.
Spend all my money on sand. I can't afford to feed them.
All right, next question. Are we now just relying on the smart people to save us? And it's not us, clearly.
What have we never not been doing that?
Hang on. Per cubic meter of sand is approximately 602 kilograms.
That's because a kilogram of sand isn't a kilogram of sand.
The front fell off. A wave hit it. All right.
So to have 3 ton of sand,
Am I looking
it's
at
about
5 by 5
4
by 5? Or...
4 by 4.
yeah, you're looking at 4x4.
Maybe I might go 2 by 6 by 8. Do the math on that.
Still 4 by 4 by 4.
That's still
is it
huge. Like that's still a massive sand pit.
I
Anyway,
don't know what to tell you. I like sand.
yes, we're relying on the smart people. Are there many of those left? Not really.
not?
Is the generation
Basically,
coming through all that smart? I mean, we went to school with most of them.
TikTok.
I am not excited.
all I'm saying is I'm relying on Uncle Elon, and I reckon Elon Musk makes all decisions for us from now on. That Jeff Bezos guy, fuck him off. He's not even close to Elon.
If
He thinks he's top shit. Don't get me wrong, he's the richest man on earth. But
has he divorced his wife yet?
I think he's still. Didn't even matter. It didn't even matter that he divorced her.
Didn't she take half though?
Again, did not matter. Took half.
Surely not. He was not double of Bill
he was
Gates.
double Bill Gates.
Fuck.
He was at like 130,
What's Bill been doing?
140 billion. Bill's at like 60s, 70s billion. But he's like devoted to 95% of his wealth to go to charity.
Yeah, right.
And then after Bill, it was a fair old gap between him and the next guy who I think, wow, a lot of IT guys make a lot of money. Anyway,
At least they have in the past, 40 years.
yeah, and fuck, I don't see him going away.
Steve Jobs did.
I mean, Amazon's been around, the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Not even. Last decade. Steve Jobs wasn't even close. Like,
No,
to
but he
the-
did go away.
he- you know what? He was worth like $4 or $6 billion at the end, and what's
off.
sad is no amount of money could have saved him. That's crazy. Doesn't matter how much money you have when you're sick.
Walt Disney.
Hey, he's coming back.
Is he still frozen?
Yeah, he's still frozen.
He is frozen. He said, when you come up with a cure, unfreeze me. No, when you come up with a way to unfreeze me, and
And
because he's
cure
cryogenically frozen.
Yeah.
And I think they still just deliver like it's dry ice, and just keep him cool. Uncle Walter. That's gonna be like cap, because that will happen. Someone will work out a way
Oh,
to
100%.
freeze someone.
Fuck, I hope it's in our time.
He's going to be so mad.
Oh, I
when he-
hope it's in our time.
It needs
I
to be
hope-
documented, like camera just there when he wakes up.
If I get an option to not die, like if they work out a way and they go, because I've heard some people reckon that Gen X will be the last generation to die. I hope that we get to live for like
if I can help it.
yeah, when I rise to power, things are going to be fairly different. But I would like a way, if for us to live, maybe not forever, but between 1 and 500 years. If we could do that, we could see shit like people not being frozen, like thought out is the correct term. Fuck, cures for cancer and shit, and just see all this crap. God, it would be cool. And a part of me thinks, again, I'm relying on the smart people to come up with a way for me to be able to do this.
Hurry up.
I've seen some
should I go to
bioengineering
uni
stuff.
and have a crack?
Nah.
No, I'm not good enough.
I'm just going to eat a bunch of lizards. A bunch of lizards.
Like, what's the doctor's name in Spider-Man? Connor. Dr. Connors. Alright, sorry.
I've seen a lot of bioengineering stuff that sort of boasts, an improvement of like 30 years. To the
I
average
think I've been
lifespan.
talking to you guys about that podcast I listened to with Dr. David Sinclair, and he was saying that the way we're going, it's going to be like we're 30 when we're 80,
Yeah.
physically. But
I don't
so
know
like
if my
that,
brain can handle that.
I feel like I'm 80 now, so what's...
I want to kind of keep learning till the day I die, in my head. But then I'm like, I don't know. Maybe when I get to like 50 or 60, I'm like, fuck it, I don't want to learn new
The
shit.
dumber you are, the happier you are.
It's true. He's definitely right about that.
Yeah, because you don't know all the problems.
Exactly.
I'm so sad.
Shut up. You piece of shit. So, do we think we're just relying on the smart people to save us? Like, I know we've done that for a long time, but at this point, it's a really scary prospect. Because it's not just war. It's not just famine where we grow more food. It's really the fate of the planet. Like, well, I'm saying that Earth only... they reckon, like, the temperature jumps maybe between 1.5 and 3 degrees by the year, like 3000.
As we've mentioned on the podcast before, like the Earth goes through...
Or was it 2100? Jesus, that could be bad. That could be an issue.
The Earth goes through drastic like temperature changes by itself, like without humans, like with the ice age and shit.
Yeah, but
granted, it's thousands and thousands of years apart, and
But no. We're just another part of the cycle. The Earth does not care.
nah.
That's I take some sort of like peace in knowing that
The Earth,
like
is
our
survivable.
home will be fine long after we're gone. Like we go. Humans will be around for what?
At
Won't be
least
long.
2 more years. At least.
Like literally though, like
I've got money on
We won't-
lasting till the 10th of July,
I don't
10th
re-
of January next year. So
We'll
if
go-
things go bad before then, I'll be surprised.
we'll go extinct before the sun dies,
Yeah.
which is
Probably.
like 3 billion years away.
Unless we can get off planet. But yeah, if we can't get off planet before, even if we can't get off planet before the sun goes, and we're still alive before the sun goes, we die when the sun goes.
Our lights will go out.
You know what's weird
Well,
though?
our lights will go very, very high on as the sun
very-
goes.
Should be quite bright.
Then we
actually,
die.
yeah. I think your fire should be quite bright.
It'll
but
never go out really because it'll still be
I
bright.
take it.
there,
I
What if we just work out a way to go? We move as fast as the Earth rotates, and we just stay in the dark side.
You know what's funny is
We build a massive highway that goes
we will
around the
get
outside of the Earth.
absorbed. You know.
No.
You know that the mass gets so great that we then get pulled in.
All right. So we get all the planets in the solar system. We bring them together.
Still does not do shit.
We'll construct a machine that builds a road as fast as the sun expands and like fucking pulls us in. So we're traveling on this never-ending infinity highway.
What happens when we have no heat?
Ah, we don't.
No,
need
because we're always the same
diesel.
distance away
Diesel
from the
will
sun.
provide us heat.
So,
Stop pissing on our dreams, Aiden.
fuck me. I spent a lot of time thinking about this though, because in my head, when the sun goes, it's like that, and I know it's like a much more gradual process. Do you think, like, let's say it goes like that? Do we know about it 8 minutes later?
Do you reckon we'll not?
Do we die 8 minutes later, or do we die almost as it happens?
I feel like
Or
something.
just the time it takes for the heat to reach us?
Depends on what happens first. If you're talking about heat reaching us, then it'll probably take a while because you're actually talking about hot particles traveling the distance. If you're talking about the radiation, then we probably die like that because
'Cause
the
I'm just
radiation
thinking-
moves that quickly.
Well, I'm just thinking, it takes 8 minutes for the light from the sun to reach us.
Yeah, okay. So I'm wondering, can you, if in the event of something like a supernova, can the radiation move faster than the speed of light?
Surely.
No.
No?
Theoretically, no.
Theoretically, no.
So we've got 7 minutes up our sleeves.
Unless it gets bigger, reducing the distance, then the radiation happens, and then we have less time. Maybe 4 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe 1.
Guys, I love that we've gotten so way off Central. You know what's weird is I can actually feel buzzed after those 2 beers. This has never happened before, but maybe we drank them a bit quicker this time, but I feel like they've got me. I feel fantastic.
You mean and the bong hit your head before?
Fuck off. No.
Yeah, the 3 lines finally got up into your brain.
3 lines of protein
Brushes
powder,
his
mate.
nose.
Do we need to adapt the way we do things like holidays? You know, planes, the cruise industry, resorts that cause mass waste, that sort of thing. It's
Virtual
a contributor,
reality.
but-
I was about to say holler sheds. Like, we just have a holler holiday.
Mate, there's a bunch of empty sheds fucking all around. You can just go to them.
It'd be cool when we get to a real...
That
like
was
a-
good. That
a
was quality
really
comedy.
real point.
Look at you've entered the comedy zone.
That was-
Rewind, play it again.
That may just be the funniest thing you've ever said.
When you open the door for your mate and you say ladies first.
This is it, folks. This is the pinnacle. Doesn't get better than this.
No, I reckon virtual reality. Imagine if you could make a virtual reality that happens like 10 times slower.
Oh. That's a good idea.
Like a dream.
Yeah, sort of like that.
So, like, yeah,
Feels like
sense
you've been
of
there for
time
30
is
days.
warped.
But it's been like a day. Yeah.
Dreams happen really quickly.
Dreams
That
seconds
is really
or
slow.
something.
Dreams?
Oh, true.
No. But dreams happen really quickly, but you feel as though you've been in there a long time.
Yeah. Because your brain...
Because your brain doesn't have to actually perform actions.
Exactly.
It can
It's
just
firing
it
the
knows
same-
that stuff's happening. It's firing at the same time that you're performing those movements in your head.
yeah,
you go.
it's just stopping you from
I'm going to
actually
throw some
doing
words at you. We're going to be in a chamber like Avatar. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to put the weird thing over us. We're going to be in ectoplasmic gel. I don't know what that means, but it's going to make it feel like our muscles are moving by itself so our brain doesn't have to do it.
And you're on Science Hour with Way of Central Boys.
And that's how we're going to do it.
I like it. I like
No,
it
it
very much.
ended up being a drug and like legalized. Illegalized because people just go home and like live in it and shit and kill themselves because they're not eating in there.
Hold on, how did we get from here to holidays?
You'd end up just... It'd just be the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it would become.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't seen the Matrix, go and watch the Matrix.
It would
'cause-
be, because that's essentially VR, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
But, wait, hold up. Real talk. You're in your VR, you die on your holiday. Do you die for real?
Heart goes into cardiac arrest.
I wonder.
I mean, it'd be the only way to play the game,
You
wouldn't
just
it?
get woken up by some dude and you just get slapped in the nuts. You go, dickhead.
People would be real scared, but then it's like, just live it like you live in real life. But then you can't. Because
'Cause
you've
you
also
know.
got that thing of like, hold up, I'm in a VR. What if someone comes and, kills
Unplugged.
me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.
Maybe there's just some set modes on it. Like, oh, you want happy sort of thing. You want like adrenaline all day. You want a chilled sort of vacation. There's just vacation mode sort of thing.
Everybody gets an allotted time every, 4 weeks. And you have to, mandated holiday time. Mandated.
Imagine you go on your vacation, but it's Minecraft.
Okay.
And you can pick your creative mode in VR.
So we get rid of vacations altogether to help the planet. Get rid of aeroplanes. You don't need to go overseas. Trust me, the world looks the same all fucking over. And if you don't believe me, you can always Google pictures.
It's
And-
flat.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a flat piece of paper. That's
Get
what
rid
you're
of
looking at.
boats. All those emissions
Don't
gone.
ask questions like why we aren't in the shadow of things like Everest. We're flat.
That's because the sun's always directly above us.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
And
There's
then
no nighttime.
We don't spin. Everest spins. So we get rid of all the vacations, and then every day after work, people just jump onto World of Warcraft.
yeah,
There we go. Problem solved.
I like it.
Guys, it's been episode 22. We hope you've really enjoyed. Or was it 21? 22.
22. 21?
22.
22.
I said
'cause we
22
had
at the
Dougcast,
start.
yeah. We hope you've really enjoyed. We're going to try and really up the content. We've been fucking slack this past couple weeks.
Better than we were, but still shit. Still shit ass.
Still shit house.
The content will probably significantly improve next year.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, as we get more free time,
Yeah, that's the
I
big
will
thing.
invest more time into shit hobbies like this.
Once we're making more money as well.
Yeah.
Money pit. Money pit.
Yeah. without a doubt.
I'm just going to announce it now. We're planning on having a party sometime in April.
In April.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Way Off Central turns 1, mate.
Oh yeah. It
Well,
does.
Central 1 year old. It's going to be fucking wild. It's a
And
party.
it's gonna be wild. It's gonna
Christina
be
Aguilera is going to be there. Bruno Mars. Snoop Diggity Dog. Big names, people. Big names.
D-O-double-G.
We're getting Oprah, and Oprah's getting you a Ferrari. Be there.
Kyle, Jackie O are out front because we're not letting the cunts in. They've got no talent. We're better than them.
Rides for the kids. Guys, it's been episode 22. We hope you've enjoyed. We know we went really well Central this week, but hopefully you could follow
That's
along and
us.
maybe learn a thing or two. Sorry it wasn't too easy for you to listen to if you were working away, but re-listen on your ride home.
Thanks, guys.
See you
Love
next
Central.
week.
That was a Titancast episode.